Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Tuesday, January the 18th, 2022. It is 6 p.m. I now call the San Juan Economic Development Corporation meeting to order. First item on the agenda is our Pledge of Allegiance. All rise, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next item is our roll call. We'll start with Ms. Martha. Thank you.
Ben Arjona, City Manager, EDC Executive Director, and also we have Mr. Robert David from the Attorney's Office.
Good. Who do we have? Robert who?
Robert David.
David.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Israel Garza, Treasurer.
Neto Guajardo, Board Member.
Arturo Guajardo Jr.
Larry Sanchez.
Thank you very much. Our next item is our public comments. Do we have anybody registered for public comments? No one registered for public comments, and we'll move on to, you wanted to go directly to who we have here on, before us, right, Mr. Arjona?
Yes, sir. If we can change the order of the date with discussion and action.
Okay, we'll go to item number 6, discussion and possible action, and we'll return to number 5. And possible action on all the following matters, which is on the downtown revitalization plan proposal. I believe we have Mr. Brian Godinez with ERO Architects here? Or is it ERO Planning is what I saw on the.
Well, I
tab?
put planning up there. We have a planning group, and then we have the architecture engineering group.
Okay, welcome, Mr. Godinez.
Thank you, Mr. Guajardo. I appreciate the fact that you're allowing me to present tonight. I'm going to take my mask off if you're all okay with that. You all selected us as the firm to submit our proposal and letter of agreement, which we did to Mr. Arona, and we did, I believe that copy is in front of you. And I'll just quickly walk you through it to let you know what we submitted. So as we had mentioned at our interview, we intended to revisit, revise, and revision the Nebraska Avenue corridor as a phase 1 for your downtown revitalization plan. So the focus is on that. And to take your 2009-2010 downtown revitalization plan and update it, and focus on the update of that particular plan, and then modernize it, given the fact that it's about 11 years old already as a plan, if not 12 years old. And we know that there were a lot of things that were pertinent then that aren't pertinent now, and you've done a lot of improvements on Nebraska since then. And obviously, costs have changed. There was recommendation of costs to, in fact, I remember seeing an $82,000 cost per block, with a total commitment of close to $3 million to focus on Nebraska at the time. So as we know, those costs have increased a lot since then. So we want to relook at all of that. And so the intent is for us to look at the possibility of updating the infrastructure plan. You're already working on drainage on a portion of it on the south side as you move towards the north. And we want to look at many segments of that plan and update it. And in your proposal and letter of agreement that we submitted, there's about a dozen areas that we want to focus on. If you look at phase 2 on page 1, from the analysis of demand all the way through planning, revitalization, infrastructure, land use, projected redevelopment and land use, transportation, traffic planning, and then focus on streetscape and all of the beautification and updates we'd like to propose on Nebraska, with possibly, ultimately, maybe looking at creating a boulevard and the expansion of Nebraska, and focus on how cars park, how people and pedestrians walk, how the businesses and storefronts look, how we might be able to enhance lighting and streetscape, and even plants and brushes and trees, and look at how we might be able to beautify the retail, and look at the possibility of opening up maybe more office space and other opportunities that may exist from an economic development standpoint. All of that is the focus of this particular phase that we have in front of you. So first phase is we'll go through discovery and learn everything we can about what you have. Visit with stakeholders, including yourselves, city officials, and any other stakeholders you think that we need to visit with. And then after we do the analysis and update the portions of the plan, submit the new version of the plan. And after you see it a couple of times through a review process where we meet with you, we think we can get this done in about 90 days. That's the plan. That's the intent. It's to not spend more than 12 weeks being able to do this. And then ultimately give you recommendations and costs associated with, a schedule, and even funding sources in terms of how you're going to be able to pay for what it is that we're going to propose. In the back of the plan that we were given a copy of, that you all may have seen, the 2009-2010, there was 2 pages devoted to a table of funding sources at the time. All those obviously have changed. I know that you all have relationship with Mr. Rutledge and other funding sources who can influence possibly seeking funds for the beautification and update of Nebraska Avenue. So what's in front of you is a proposal to do the planning for $75,000 with a $10,000 expense allocation devoted to us over and above the $75,000. We are intending to bring the same team that we proposed to you at the interview, a gentleman by the name of Stephen Tillotson, who at the time couldn't come because of COVID, and he would be leading the urban planning components of it along with our team. And then on the infrastructure side, on our team, we had suggested Meldon and Hunt, we had suggested site work landscape architects for the streetscape, and those would be the primary consultants working with us on this particular project. And then we'll do some community involvement, possibly create a small web page that's associated with the city, just to update what's going on with this downtown revitalization plan. And then we did plan for at least one public meeting to occur so that we could make a presentation to you all publicly and then make a presentation to the city commission as well and let the public get a chance to review and see what we're doing. And that's the whole proposal.
Mr. Godinez,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Sanchez and I were discussing a little while ago of trying to learn from some of the hiccups that have occurred in the past. And obviously, that plan that was prepared back in '09 and '10 was never acted on by anyone in the city of San Juan. I mean, it just kind of, the work was done, but never really happened. And we're trying to prevent that from happening again.
Yes, sir.
So what we've focused on as our team here at the EDC is we've tried to narrow what we wanted to accomplish first. And we talked about sidewalks and the lighting,
Right.
which is under your streetscape bullet point here.
Yes, sir.
And that's what we'd like to really, so we could see the fruits of our labor, at least some
Correct.
of it, something gets accomplished before, because things happen in city government. There could be change in leadership, and then, the ideas were there, but then nothing
Mr.
ever got done.
President,
Yes.
and excuse for the interruption. I understand where we're going with this, and we're gonna come back to a standstill, and again, we're gonna keep going over and over. If we go with sidewalks and lighting, we have not accomplished anything. Because in order to get sidewalks and lighting, we need to go to this phase first. Do whatever they're gonna do to create whatever they're gonna have to create, because you can't just go do sidewalks and, okay, we're starting to look pretty. No. What about the facelift downtown, all those buildings, all the things that we've asked and talked about in the past, the canopies, and maybe trying to structure all the buildings to go in coordination? I mean, if we're gonna do something, let's do it the right way and not go and start, because I know it's steep. I know the money is steep, and I know that's what we've talked about. But since 2009, this plan's been in place, and we've done nothing yet. And I think it's about time we give something back to our city. Yeah, this is enough. We've standed, Bob Garza brought it to the table, Mr. Juan brought it to the table. I think we asked them several times, let's do and do a good plan, and let's go out there and do something good for the city that we can leave, and the citizens of San Juan can be and say, hey, you know what? This board did something for us. Because we can't do shortcuts, sidewalks, and lighting. We can't without doing anything else. To me, that's my opinion. You might have a different opinion, and Mr. Sanchez might have.
And those are great, good key points. And the whole point, and I think we discussed a little bit ago, and the discussion is that I think the city of San Juan would have been in a better shape if this fruits from 2009, 2010 would have been executed the way it was supposed to be in the plan. I think the city of San Juan has been stagnant. I agree with that. And those are things that I'm trying to discuss, and how to fix the issue for it not to fall into the cracks again because of government, of city government, and the changes that the city has had and will continue to have, obviously, for the better government of our community. And I agree with your key points. Now, how do we safeguard and how do we patent to where we continue that, if anyone that continues, that comes in, continues with the vision, not only myself, this is a vision from 2009, 2010 that we're trying to revitalize, you know? And those are things that at this point, whether whose idea, it don't matter as long as we actually bring it back to light and get it going. So my question was, and you can tell Mr. President here, you can ask, is how do we do it so it doesn't fall through the cracks and have the community see those fruits come and not get back in the back burner? And we have to have some type of checks and balances to where it continues, it doesn't stop because of somebody else's agenda or something like that. Because at the end of the day, our citizens are the ones that are hurting because they're not seeing their money at work, and that's what we're trying to do. And I'm pretty sure every single one of us here, Mr. Reyes, wants that to happen. I know for sure want for it to happen. Of course, it's going to be good for me because it's going to be good for our whole community.
Right.
And those are things that I think, Mr. President, that's what you're getting into.
Right.
And how do we set those boundaries to make sure it doesn't fall through the cracks? That's, I don't know,
So
Mr.
this is just a communication that we're having with you while we have this proposal in front of us. We appreciate the fact it's all encompassing. This is a necessary tool for us. We wanted you to know what this board has been thinking and has acted on here and taken official action, that that's what we wanted to accomplish during the first phase. That's it. So when we get to this point and we're working together, we want you to realize that we want to actually see something concrete get done by the time this all.
May I comment?
Excuse me, I
I'm
think,
sorry.
Mr. Sanchez and Mr. Garza, you know, they do really have a point. I mean, if you start something, it's not about going all the way through it. The thing is that here in our city, you know, we always been changing leaders and stuff like that, and keeps on changing, and somebody put that aside, they decide on something else. See, and this is what Mr. Sanchez and Rael want to do, is probably find a way where it don't matter if we change the leaders. It's something, the project that we have to do, working together, and stay with that project.
And that is a
that's what we're
conversation,
looking at.
and that is a conversation that me and Mr. President we're here having, is how do we do it to keep it from falling through again? The city needs it. We need it.
Yeah.
You know, we have people coming from all over the state of Texas, even from other states, from our other countries, and we need to give something back to show what the city's really about. And if they say San Juan's friendly city, let's get it going.
And if I may, there's no guarantee that this is not going to fall through the cracks, but I think
Right.
it's up to you all that the continuity is going to be there, stability is going to be there, so we can continue moving on this. The last thing we want is approve something like this and then not do anything about it for the next 2 years, and then somebody else comes in and, you know what, I really don't agree with that. But I think the plan, and I understand everybody's point of view that, in the needs of this city, is that we need to start somewhere. And what we talked about was the lighting, the infrastructure, the sidewalks, and so on and so forth. So there's got to be a starting point where we can start from that point. So I'm assuming in just saying this is that once we get the plan going, then we can come back, because there's going to be a lot of community involvement as to what the needs are, what the visions are, not necessarily from us here, from you guys here, but also from the community people. There's a lot of engagement that needs to be taking place. So once this gets approved, there's no guarantee, like I said, that this is going to fall through the cracks, but there's going to be the continuity from you guys saying, hey, we need this, we need that, so we can focus and start putting a focal point as to what's going to be the next step. And I think this is very important, this phase, so that we can start with a phase one.
I have some comments.
Please.
Well, first off, I do want to give you credit that you actually do have a pretty good foundation built here with this plan that you did. And so there were some things that you actually did accomplish. On this plan, there was a recommendation for a bus shelter. Well, now you're getting a new city hall with a transit center. There was recommendations for drainage improvements on Nebraska. Well, you've already started that, and you're about a third of the way through as you head up north. So the foundation for that infrastructure is already being built. In this plan, there's about 9 visual elements here for streetscaping, which includes lighting, includes benches, it includes a lot of really nice things that we want to look at and update and upgrade on that. And then lastly, you know, there's no saying about inch by inch, it's a cinch, mile by mile at the trial. This plan actually proposes how you develop this block by block. And it even got down to a cost of all of the streetscaping elements on a per block basis of $82,000 a block. Maybe that's one way of approaching it, just like you're doing your drainage as you're moving up north. Maybe we start doing the streetscaping one block at a time and actually build a budget towards that and implementation towards that. That foundation is in here.
That's the type of assistance we'll need from your group.
Yeah.
You know, because we want to actually see some advancements getting done.
There's some things there I think we
If we
can.
look at it too holistically, you know, it's a little.
Again, mile by mile, it's a trial.
Right,
You just
exactly.
don't ever get there.
That's exactly right.
But inch by inch, and in this case, block by block, we start building towards the north with the anchor starting here at the new city hall and then working our way up Nebraska, up north up there towards the museum.
And those are the things that the vision that I have is it's got to show some type of uniformity. You know, we got the city hall, and you're coming into the city, you're going into an area where like, okay, where are we? Okay, here's the city hall. Actually, you got to build and pave the pavement going that way and showing, okay, I'm about to get somewhere. And basically, I don't know who I told, you're crossing the expressway at night, you want to see it like an airstrip landing where you see all the lights, and then it leads you to the city hall, to the downtown organization. Those are the vision that I have, which is in that book. And believe it or not, it's in that book
There are some
from
pretty cool things in this
2009.
book.
You know, so those are the things that and I guess that we discussed in the past, and I'm hoping that it comes into fruit, because we already started with the city hall, and I hope it continues here.
Well, I think that, you know, when we did the interview presentation, we talked about three anchoring components. The new city hall, the museum, the stained glass museum, and the basilica, almost a triangle. And so we had proposed, let's start and head north from the city hall up Nebraska, and then work our way eventually towards the basilica and then tie it all together. But I'm in total agreement with you, Mr. Garza. We have to show the community that things are going to be happening. So let's pick the easy stuff first. That doesn't cost as much.
That's
So it
it.
shows some progress
That's
there. And that's what we're going to be looking at.
perfect. That's what we wanted to communicate.
Yes, sir.
Today.
We got the message.
Any other questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the proposal as submitted. Got a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries
Thank you,
unanimously.
Mr. Williams.
Thank you,
you all.
Mr. Ulinas. We look
Appreciate
forward
it.
to working with you.
Looking forward to working with you all.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Mr.
Y'all take care and have a good evening.
You too. Okay, we'll go back to item number 5, our director's report.
Yes, Mr. Chairman and members of the board, I don't have a whole lot on this particular report. The only one is that we have on this coming Thursday, there's a groundbreaking at the Basilica, groundbreaking ceremony. Everybody's invited. Father Jorge reached out and asked that if you all could make it to the groundbreaking. It is very significant.
So I
to
saw
them.
the renderings in the back. Are they planning
Yes, sir.
to do
That's,
those improvements
that's
back
pretty
there?
much what they're gonna do on the back.
Wow, that's pretty nice.
It's very nice, very beautiful.
I had no idea. So that's that's concrete or
Yes,
some
sir.
type of stone or something, right?
Right, that's what it looks like.
Nice.
It's up in the front of the Basilica on the north side. I think it's gonna give a.
You'll be able to see that right off the expressway
right
as
up
you're
the
exiting
expressway.
now.
Exactly.
¿Verdad?
So there's gonna be the bishop is gonna be there and many more dignitaries, so if he's
So
asking.
this is when?
On Thursday?
Thursday, January the 20th, Thursday.
This
Thursday?
coming Thursday, yes.
1:30?
Can make it?
Well, I'm flying to Houston. I'm going to Houston tomorrow. I'll be driving back. I don't know if I'll make it back.
It's like a canopy, I don't know what the purpose of that is gonna be.
Is it canopy? Look at the next page.
Canopy no tiene benches?
They're like canopies, right? Like little,
Just canopies, I guess.
Shade.
it's like a pergola.
Yes, sir.
Nice. Well, I'll definitely try to get here in time. I don't know if I can get here in time, but I'll try.
That's on the groundbreaking. The other item, Mr. Chairman, we have a video production. I call it video production because there's gonna be some series of video that we got together with the IT department and also with Orlando. And and the purpose of this is to pretty much expose the city, market the EDC, market the properties and all that good stuff that we've been talking about. So now that we have another team working together, working with the camera system and also working with the marketing side, we're gonna be interviewing the commissioners and also the board members to see what the vision is, what the purpose of the EDC is, and maybe send a message out. At the same time, those restaurants, those businesses that are part of the EDC, we're gonna put like a, what do you call it, the running marquee per se on the bottom. So whenever there's like an interview, something is going on the bottom saying this is brought to you by Barrett or by San Juan Cafe, whoever those people are, the sponsors. So this is pretty much going to be exposing the city in a different way that we have not been exposing the city. As you know, there's a lot of growth coming into the city, so we're gonna be talking about the new developments, the one that is coming, that is no secret no more, the Chili's and the Olive Garden and the Starbucks. So those are gonna be some of the topics of discussion. We're gonna be we're gonna have one a week. So we're gonna be doing 4 segments at a time, weekly, so that we can be ready for the following. We're gonna be working. 4 recordings, yes, sir.
And then you envision putting it on a CD or?
No, actually, it's gonna be on the social media, web pages. Yes, sir. So, right, so maybe in one segment, we're gonna invite you or board members. Right, we started doing that. Right. Right, but this is gonna be more like a little studio that we're setting up at the EDC for now. And, once we go into the new city hall, there's gonna be more of a stable, area where it's just gonna be just for that.
Did we ever do anything with Sergio along those same lines?
Sergio. We did the video, remember that we did that video and, we sent that out. Now, what they're asking for now is maybe not a video through Zoom, it's gonna be more like they're gonna be here in San Juan, right? But this is I think it's gonna be a great start, not only, exposing the city, every single department, but also the EDC as well. So we're gonna go to different businesses, take some footage on all these different businesses that are coming in, and the ones that we have here established as well. Yeah. Other than that, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I don't have anything else as far as for this, week's, departmental report.
Could you, next time we meet, Mr. Arjona, maybe include in your report a summary of the Posada event that ended up getting canceled?
Matter of fact, we're working on that already.
Okay.
Yes.
So we could kind of
Yes,
see where we're
will
at,
do.
what happened with that.
Okay.
Okay, so there's nothing else there, then we're ready to go into executive session.
Yes, sir.
If I may, I'd like to recognize that Mr. Pedro Contreras has now joined the meeting with us. Welcome, Mr. Contreras.
Thank you.
We are fixing to go into item number 7, executive session. The San Juan Economic Development Corporation will convene an executive session in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Vernon Statutes and Codes Annotated Government Code Chapter 551.071. The time is now 6:26. Do I have a motion to go into executive session? We got a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you very much. We'll recess into executive session. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's 7:42 PM, and we are reconvening this San Juan Economic Development Corporation meeting. Do we have any action, board members, to take out of executive session?
On item number 2, on the possible action on real estate property, I'd like to make a motion to counter offer and give the direction to our director on the property, as discussed in the executive session.
Got a motion and a second directing our executive director to make a counter offer on the bid that belongs, on the property that belongs to the EDC. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
No, before that, the first item, we need to take no action.
Oh, sir.
There is no action required on anything else on executive session, right?
On number
item
one. Item 1.
Okay, you want to make a motion?
I'd like to make no motion for the possible action, economic development negotiations, which is projects A, B, C, D, E, F.
Action.
No action on
No action.
items A, B, C, D, E, and F. It's in
Second,
the motion form. Got a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Now we can ask for an adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Got a motion?
Second.
And a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.